And hello good people of the internet, it is I, Tommy Kelly, and this is Adventures in Woo Woo. And on this episode, I want to do another one of those magical item episodes. Now this might be brilliant for the people who are listening on audio only, so I would suggest that you head on over to YouTube and have a look at it, because what I'm going to talk about today is my tarot cards. And so that is a bit more of a visual thing than an audio thing, though I will be obviously talking about them. Now, the first deck I'll talk about is my Rider, Waite, Smith, Coleman, Pamela. I always mispronounce the name of this deck altogether. Rider Smith, Rider White, it's that one. The one that we all know. That is, you know, when you think of the tarot deck, it's that one. I got this wasn't the very first one I got, but it was the first one that I ever handled. My sister had a tarot, and she did tarot for a while. She was quite good at it. So kind of early 20s, that kind of thing. She had tarot decks. I don't even know if she still has it. I must ask her. I assume she does. And I had an ex-girlfriend who also had a Rider Waite. Why do I always pronounce that wrong? Rider Waite? I should really check these things out before I talk about them. So that was one of them. That's the deck everyone knows, and it's got good symbology. There are many different versions of the different colours that you can get and all that. And it's, you know, a decent deck. Probably the best one. If you're going to recommend a deck to someone, that's probably as good a deck to recommend. The first actual deck I ever owned, though, was this one, which is the Tosh deck, or the Tosh deck, or some people say that's pronounced Tehote. I'm not sure. It's the Aleister Crowley Frida Harris deck, and this is the very first one I bought. I bought it off my Reiki teacher when I was in college doing holistic health studies, and she also had like a new age kind of shop. I like the Tot deck. I like some of the symbolism of it. The artwork's pretty nice. I find it a very negative, kind of stark, depressing with doing readings on it. It always seems to, just cut straight to, the bad part of the problem, and really focus on the negative. So I don't really enjoy it too much because of that, because it's just simply all the readings come out seeming to be on the more negative slant of things. Not, it's as accurate as ever was, but kind of does it in a more dickish way, I suppose, or more doesn't pull any punches or spare your feelings or really care about you in any way. So I have a couple of other ones here. We'll just fly through. This one, and the one I really, really enjoy this one. It is the Bota deck. I enjoyed the major arcana in it. This was bought for me by, I don't know how well that's focusing, by Jeremy Madulid. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, Jeremy. He's one of the admins on the 47 Facebook group, and I know him a long while. He was, I met him through a mutual friend, and he kind of introduced me to Bota, which is the Paul Foster Case School of Tarot and Kabbalah and stuff like that. And the postage rates for sending the tarot deck to Ireland were unbelievable. So he very kindly ordered one, got it to Australia, and then sent it to me. And so this is the one I have. It's totally in black and white, just line art. And the minor arcana just is, your very standard, for 2 wands, has 2 wands. Nothing fancy, no kind of pictorial glyphs or anything like that. But the major arcana is possibly my favourite representation of the major arcana. Paul Foster Case is pretty good. That Bota stuff, the lessons is really good. He goes a bit strange towards the end and goes into that whole kind of, just randomly spits out homophobia, or whatever is the correct term for that. I know people don't like that word because it's not really fear of sexuality, it's bigotry. Isn't that what it is? So then, I don't have too many tarot decks, to be honest. The other one I have is the Wild Unknown, which pretty much everyone has, I suppose. And I really like it aesthetically. I love the artwork. I love how it, the actual texture of the artwork, the kind of colouring, the stark contrast between the black and white and the colours. But I don't think ever read with it once, maybe. It's one I kind of like as it being pretty, rather than as a usable kind of deck. But that's a lovely little set. My wife bought that for me a couple of years ago for Christmas. It concludes the hardback book and nice wee box and stuff like that. So pretty nice, pretty cool. What else have we here? So we have, when I was in CMG, I met the wonderful Molly Wright, and she did her own tarot deck, and it's the Wright deck, or the Toon deck, I think she calls it too as well. Maybe I could be wrong in that. And this is hers. I will leave a link in the description because she's selling them, obviously. and it's a wonderful deck. It's a lovely, it's a very unique deck. Has its own, very much its own style, its own kind of atmosphere. Don't know again how well this is. See, if I do automatic zoom, if you do the kind of auto zoom, it does this pumping in and out thing, which is so annoying. But it just means you kind of don't get to automatically zoom. So it's a really nice deck. I'm glad I have it. Didn't do many readings with it, but that's not anything to do with the deck. That's more because I just don't use the tarot that much, being that I have my own deck that I find much more useful and I'm much more in tune with. So then we have Tarot de Marseille, Alejandro Jodorowsky's version of it with Camille, however that's pronounced. So it's a lovely one. This is the kind of very old-fashioned one that looks very much like playing cards. And as you can see by the box, it hasn't been opened that much either. I got that initially to do the Rune Soup tarot course because it was recommended at the beginning to get one, and that was get a Tarot de Marseille, and then kind of promptly lost interest in the tarot around that time. I was obviously doing something else. I had done a lot of kind of studying of the tarot when I did the BOTA courses. I was in that for a while, and then someone from a rival organisation sent me the entire catalogue of the lessons, and so I kind of cheekily read through all of them, and it gets very, I would say, convoluted as it goes on, but maybe it's just my lack of understanding of my, the scope of what I feel tarot is. But certainly the early introduction lessons and how he puts it all together and the journey and the archetypical kind of structure of the major arcana is something I enjoy. But it was from that I kind of took the bits that I liked and made it, took it all the good bits that I enjoyed or wanted to use and put it into 47. So once I did that, my kind of love or interest in tarot kind of waned, and it just kind of, it's not something. It's also, if you're not using it constantly, you forget an awful lot of the attributes or the meanings or what it is. And so if I was doing a reading now, it wouldn't be as familiar to me as it would have been at one point where I was very familiar with all the cards. And now I'd probably, if I was using, say, the BOTA deck, which just had like 4 of Wands, I would have to question if I actually know what the 4 of Wands mean now. So there is that. The other kind of oracle deck I have, and this is Pete Carroll's Epoch deck. It comes with a big book. This was bought and sent to me by Abraxas, the great and wonderful Abraxas, who is one of the people I interviewed on the Magic People podcast not that long ago. So you should check that out. He very kindly sent this to me because, again, it was one of those things that the postage costs was to send to Ireland was like twice as much as what the book and the deck was. And so, like, it's whatever it is, it's a $40 set was like $100 or £100 or something ridiculous, something just not worth doing, where I refused to pay more than the actual item for the actual product or for the shipping. But I haven't spent an awful lot of time on it. I did sit down last week for about a bit over an hour, and look through it and read through some of the stuff, but not in any kind of great depth. And it seems to be a very good system and very workable ideas. And I do know people who use it and find it very helpful. I'm just kind of in the middle of working out some magical stuff for the new comic, which I'll have an update about soon. And I think just by trying to learn a new system like something like this, we just kind of muddy the waters a bit on that, and kind of confuse my tiny little brain that needs to have a focus rather than think. Maybe it would kind of add to it or whatever, but it just feels right now that while it is something I definitely want to investigate and feel there'll be good power in, or a good kind of learning in, or an expansion in, just now is not the time for it. But I'm very delighted to have it, and I'm very appreciative of Abraxas spending its hard-earned money on me. So that's it. That's kind of all the tarot I have. I don't have any oracle decks other than 47s. I did have some angel cards, but I give them away to the person who was doing the Reiki on me that I talked about on the vlog before, because she had all of the other angel cards apart from this set, and I went, well, of course, then this one is definitely for her. But I think because I have the 47s and because I have that kind of something that is so ingrained in me, or I know so well, and is so kind of representative of how I see things, and is made from my lines, etc., that I probably won't get into tarot, or I won't use it or utilize it as much as other people probably would in the same situation. I think it is very much worth your while. Probably trying to, if you've any kind of creative kind of spark in you, trying to do some sort of divination system yourself. Come up, even if it's just glyphs on paper or some sort of runes or something like that. It's a very worthwhile endeavour, and you learn an awful lot about how these kind of systems work and what they need and what works for you and all of those things. So if you have that in, I would suggest it's a worthwhile doing. It's a lot of work, I'll tell you, it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding in the end. Even if, you know, it's just for you, which was, as I've said before, the initial intention for the Four Servants was just for a tool for myself. So anyway, I hope that's interesting. Possibly not, it's hard to know. But so tell me about your tarot collection, or your oracle collection. What's your favourite decks? What do you enjoy about it? What do you enjoy about tarot over oracle decks? What do you enjoy about oracle decks over tarot decks? Do you prefer runes? Do you prefer, you know, other forms of divination, or what is it? Do you just, you know, discount divination altogether as total woo-woo and no help to anyone? All, you know, please tell me all your different ideas on it in the comments below, or on social media, or any of the places where I am. So, good people of the internet, may me as an oracle, I will predict that our future will be bright. So bright, you gotta wear shades. May our best days be ahead. I'll see you all tomorrow.